5 News. This is Good Day New York.
It's a good freezing day, New York. It's Wednesday, March 6th. I'm Rosanna Scotto.
And I'm Lori Six. Thanks for joining us. It is sunny, but don't let that fool you. It is freezing outside. Our high temperatures won't get above the 20s, and it's going to be windy on top of it, making it feel so much colder. Mike Woods will have full details.
The NYPD is investigating what led up to a police-involved shooting in Harlem. They say the suspect claimed he had a gun, but no weapon was found. That suspect is expected to survive.
NYPD facing allegations that it is abusing its power. It all comes after police moved people's cars for the department's annual flag football game.
The governor of Jersey has unveiled his budget proposal. One of his ideas is to raise money through a millionaire's tax, but Democrats are pushing back, saying they will not support higher taxes.
Plus, the First Lady of New York City, Chirlane McCray, is here. She's going to join us and talk about the new monuments that are being built to honor women.
Right, there's big celebration for women coming up. I think it's Friday.
Yeah.
What's it called? I don't know. All these new
Feels
hashtags or something. International Women's Day, it might be.
But it feels like it's a year of the woman, which started actually last year with so many going into politics and winning their seats and feeling there's an underrepresentation of monuments dedicated to women here.
Okay.
So why not?
Well, we have some monuments
How about
already.
you?
Oh, yeah. Monument of what? Do you know how many
Power.
monuments we already have of women in New York City?
I think 5.
5.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Not enough.
Not enough.
Let's
All
check in with Mike.
Yeah, when you compare that to the men.
Right, ridiculous.
Yeah. All right, we're going to fix that. All right, wish we could fix this. We will, but not until the weekend. These are your forecast highs for the day here today. Getting into the upper 20s and a few low 30s here and there. That's all we can do today because it's so cold and we've got more cold air still rushing in. 30-year forecast high in Bridgeport, 29 Central Park, about 27 for you in Newark, as well as over toward Trenton. Where we stand right now, still in the teens and a few low 20s. We've got 21 degrees for you in Islip, 19 for you in Central Park, and 11 degrees in Monticello. So it's a cold start to the day. Winds coming in from the west-northwest at around 5 to 15 miles per hour. Makes it feel a little bit colder. Wind chill factor down to 1. That's what it feels like in White Plains. So you'll want to bundle it up. Hat, scarves, gloves, bundle it all up. Cover up that exposed skin, especially if you're out exposed for any significant period of time. But as it stands right now, we have the dry sky still here. Now, we do have these troughs still swinging through from time to time. What they do is pull down more of that cold Canadian and Arctic air and keep our temps well below normal by about 15 degrees or so today. So our temperatures get up to 26 by noon. High temp goes up to 29, back to 28 for you by 4 p.m. There could be a few flurries out there as we head toward the afternoon and the evening, especially to the northwest. Our low tonight drops down to 18. Another cold one again. High of 33 tomorrow, then 37 on Friday. So yeah, we're still in the deep freeze until we break 32, and we'll see if we do it tomorrow. If not, then we should on Friday. And then it does get considerably warmer over the weekend. All right, let's bring in Inez and see what's going on with the commutes. Doesn't sound like it's been too bad of a hump day.
Good morning, Mike. No, not too bad at all. We do have street cleaning rules suspended today once again for religious observances. Meters remain in effect. Over in New Jersey, expect delays on Route 80, both directions approaching exit 3739. So on the westbound side by 39, a dump truck flipped over. We have a couple of lanes blocked and a fuel spill. On the eastbound side, we are dealing with some rubbernecking delays. 287's doing fine, no issues there. Let's go to our cameras, take a look at the 59th Street Bridge. Upper, lower level, looking pretty good. Manhattan bound, no delays there. As for the rails, everything running on or close to schedule. With Long Island Railroad, the Ronkonkoma branch, you could experience a 5 to 10 minute delay. Trains need to slow down heading through Central Islip because of signal problems, but really not causing any significant delays. Lori and Rosanna.
Inez, thank you so much. So police officers shot and wounded a man who claimed he had a gun inside his apartment building in Harlem.
And police say just before 6 p.m., officers responded to a report of a man with a gun inside the building on West 114th Street. Responding officers say the suspect pointed an object at them and said he had a gun and then fired 3 shots, hitting him once. The suspect was rushed to St. Luke's in stable condition. They also say the incident was captured on police-worn body cameras. No weapon was recovered.
The NYPD is facing backlash after posting no parking signs in one neighborhood in Manhattan and then moving cars that were parked there, all for a department flag football game.
So neighbors are calling it an abuse of power, but the commissioners defending the department's actions. Fox 5's Robert Moses live now in Inwood with details for us. Robert?
Lori and Rosanna, as the Daily News puts it this morning, oh, they didn't. Yes, they did. And not only that, the NYPD is not apologizing for it. And some people in this neighborhood are not too pleased. A man who lives in Inwood gave us these pictures of vehicles belonging to NYPD officers parked in his neighborhood Sunday for a flag football tournament at Columbia's Baker Athletic Complex. Some had handwritten notes on their dashboards. One read, NYPD football player inside. Another, on police commissioner's flag football team. People who live and park here are now throwing their own flags on what they say is placard abuse.
It feels like an abuse of power that they can just come up here and move people's cars and make people park in garages because they want to park right next to the field.
Kelly Case told us what she saw on Sunday morning.
On Sunday, I coach lacrosse up at this field, and we were walking over to practice around like 8, and they were just towing a bunch of cars.
There were cars that they were relocated. Nobody was towed. Nobody got a ticket.
Police Commissioner James O'Neill sounded defensive as he spoke about the right of his officers to park where they did.
There were signs put out 5 days in advance that said no parking on Sunday. So this is something that takes place very often up in that neighborhood.
I'm here to say I've lived here 20 years. That has never happened before.
Those who live here say parking is hard enough as it is. Sunday's flag football tournament made it that much harder and costlier.
Why make me pay over $30 to pay, park my car when they could have just parked their car in the garage when they came up here like everybody else does?
And just to be clear, contrary to what the police commissioner said, some cars were indeed towed, but by towed we just mean relocated. They weren't taken to any sort of tow pound. People didn't get any ticket and they didn't have to pay any fine. That doesn't change the fact that this was a major inconvenience for some who live here. That is the latest live from Inwood this morning. Lori and Rosanna, back to you.
All right, Robert, thank you. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy unveiled his new budget proposal yesterday.
Yes, so it includes nearly $1 billion in increases over the current year's spending. He plans to finance it with higher income tax rates on the wealthy and savings in public worker benefits.
This budget is how we make real the promise of a stronger and fairer state that works for every family, and it builds on the progress that we have already made.
Now, according to the governor, the millionaire's tax, which would tax those making over $1 million, would help relieve the burden on the middle class and seniors. But Democrats are saying they will not support higher taxes. Governor Murphy also called for a boost to New Jersey Transit, school aid, and a higher public pension payment. All right, so have you heard about this? Women leaders are about to get honored in a big way in New York City.
The de Blasio administration has announced 4 monuments will be built to commend the trailblazers as part of the She Built NYC initiative.
Joining us right now to tell us all about it, the First Lady of New York City, our co-mayor, we like to say, Chirlane McCray, and former Deputy Mayor.
As of Friday.
Oh, really? Alicia Glenn, nice to have you here. As of last Friday?
Yeah.
Or this Friday?
Last Friday.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well, nice to have you here, too.
Thank you.
So let's talk with Mrs. McCray. Ms. McCray. Let's talk about this initiative because we have 5 female statues on city properties right now, right?
That's what we estimate, yes.
And so what are you doing with this new initiative?
Well, we're starting to right the balance. We know that we have literally more than 100 statues of men, and that's not sending the right message to young girls and boys and the people of this city when so many women made huge contributions to build this city.
Like who? Who's up first? Who are we going to put
Kate
in?
Walker of Staten Island. She was someone who saved literally dozens of lives, 50 lives at least, by helping to guide the ships through the channel, and was never recognized.
I didn't even know who she was.
I heard of her either. Yeah.
She worked at Robbins Reef Lighthouse, and she dedicated her life to making sure that people got safely home.
Other names, I heard Shirley Chisholm might be also.
We announced Shirley Chisholm in November.
Okay.
She'll be in Brooklyn. Every borough is going to have its own hometown hero.
Oh.
So Kate Walker will be in Staten Island. Shirley Chisholm will be in Brooklyn. Elizabeth Jennings Graham will be in Manhattan. She was a civil rights activist, integrated the transit. African Americans were not allowed to ride in certain cars, in certain streetcars. Billie Holiday will be in Queens, and not many people realize that she lived in Flushing.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, born in Brooklyn, in Baltimore, but then moved here. Yeah.
And Dr. Rodriguez Trias, pediatrician, public health pioneer, will be in the Bronx.
All right, Ms. Glenn, how much is this going to cost us?
The numbers. When you think about what we're going to get for the numbers, I think it's a pretty good deal.
How much is this going to cost us?
We've budgeted between $300,000 and $1 million per monument. And these are monuments that are going to be in the public realm literally forever. And if there's one thing we should be investing in, is our public realm. And in New York, women and girls getting to really appreciate how much women did contribute to building New York City. So I think it's pretty good bang for your buck.
So how did these names come about? Was there a process of where people can actually submit who they think there should be monuments for?
Yeah, earlier in 2018, we launched a whole process for the She Built NYC nominating process, where we opened up literally for all New Yorkers to submit the names of women or groups of women who they think we should be commemorating. And we got over 2,000 nominations from across every borough, every neighborhood. And then a commission sort of ranked them and evaluated their appropriateness for a monument. And so Shirley Chisholm was the first one. The 4 we're announcing today were also in the top 30 on that list. And we're not one and done, and we're not even 5 and done, right? There are so many amazing women.
They have to be kind of vetted, because as we've seen a significant amount of other statues coming down once they're
just don't touch Columbus.
Right, exactly.
I'm going on the record right now.
But it is true, you know.
Well, I think it's right. We have an obligation to make sure that the people who are in our public realm deserve to be honored.
Right.
But we also need to be clear that the people who have been honored in the past don't adequately represent who we are as New Yorkers. And that's a balance that the First Lady and I and other women in city government feel really, really committed to making sure we correct that balance.
Well, a lot of people think it's revisionist history.
Yeah,
you can't go back and change the way things were in 1492. You know what I mean? I think we've learned a lot since 1492, right?
We have. We want to make sure we're telling the full story.
Right.
That's what is at issue here. That so many people have gone unrecognized, or we haven't really told the real story, the truth about who these people were.
All right. So when will these start? The process actually begin of building and
the process will begin right away, but it takes a long time.
Right.
We have to
public input.
Public input, select the artist. The artist actually has to do the work.
Don't get the one who did I Love Lucy, or did Lucy. Remember that one upstate?
That was horrible. All right, we need to talk about other things, because the Thrive Initiative has been getting a lot of press lately.
Yes.
I know that you probably been reading some of it. And some people have said that there's no accountability for the money that was spent. $850 million. Going to hit $1 billion within 5 years, and we're still seeing lots of homeless on the street, and apparently not a lot of bookkeeping from your office.
Well, that's not true. That is absolutely not true. We have so many measures in place, and you know, so many things.
So what are the accomplishments then thus far of Thrive NYC?
Right.
How can we be able to tell that $850 million has actually been well spent?
Well, first of all, we haven't spent $850 million. We've only spent, by the end of June, we'll have spent $560 million.
That's still a lot of bucks.
It's a lot of bucks, and those bucks have been well spent. And we have, again, many measures in place. I think the kinds of things that people are looking for, we're not going to see for many years, because that's just not the way it works.
I know.
When you get vaccinated, you don't immediately become immune to every disease.
No, I know, but we would like to see some changes
things
on the street,
well,
you know?
Well,
like
no,
the
that's
homeless
not
people and the mentally ill people.
Of course, because, you know, when people are in crisis, and that's what you're seeing with people who are on the street, many of those who've gone to jail, many of those who are in crisis, right, that we have to take emergency measures, they didn't end up in crisis overnight. If we only address the people who are in crisis, we are always going to have people in crisis. So what Thrive is doing is prevention and intervention, making sure that everyone gets the attention they need. We all have mental